Hey, how's it going? In this tutorial, we're going to build an AI chatbot using Groq API in Python. From one of my previous tutorials, I already covered how to get started with using Groq API in Python. Now we're going to build an AI chatbot using the same API. I'm going to dive right into the tutorial. Alright, so first we want to install the Python package pip install Groq. Then I'm going to create a Python file called chat.py, actually chatbot.py, and open the file. Now here from Groq, I'm going to import Groq's class. Then I'm going to create a class called Groq chat client. When we create the client instance, we can specify the model ID. And here I'm going to set the default to make sure. And we also have the option to provide a system message to define the role and the response and the behavior of the AI. Now, just in case, if you are loading API key from somewhere other than from an environment variable, so we have this if condition to check if an API key is provided. I'm going to create the model ID attribute, and to store the composition, we have the messages list to store the message log. Now here, if the system message is provided, they want to create a record to append to the messages list. Now, because I don't want to keep typing the dictionary object, instead I'm going to create a function to do that for me. And I'm going to name the method to draft message. So every time when we use this function, we just need to provide the prompt, unless your role is other than user. And to send the request, I'm going to create a method called send request. Now here we have the message, and message is going to be the dictionary object that contains the role and the content. And we can also set the temperature, max tokens, stream, and stop. Now here, by default, when we provide a message, we're going to append the message to the messages list. Now, if we look at the create method here, from self.client.chat.completions.create, we're going to supply the messages list, model ID, and it should be self.model ID. Temperature, max tokens, stream, and stop. Now here, if you set stream to true, then the response is going to work like a generator. So in that case, we need to insert a check to check if we're going to stream the message or we're going to return the output as a single complete response. So here we have this if condition. If stream is set to false, then we're going to construct our own output here as a dictionary. Then we're going to append the message to the message list to create the message history. Then return the response. Otherwise, we're going to return the check completion object. In this case, this is going to be a generator. And the last method to complete the chatbot class is last message attribute. Now, this one's optional, but I intend to use this class to build a desktop application later on. And this attribute is going to enhance the functionality of the desktop application that I'll be building in the future. Now let's go into everything we need to write to create the class. Now let's create the entry point. So here I'm going to create a system message to define the AI. So basically, I'm going to say you're a senior data engineer with 10 years of experience specializing in building data pipelines, data models, databases, and so on. Then I'm going to supply the message to the system message parameter. I'm going to create my Groq chat client object. And here I'm going to create a flag to indicate that I want to stream the message. Then we can insert the while loop. So here I can say while true. So this condition will basically keep the conversation running until we provide a stop word to terminate the session. And here I'm going to use exit, leave, and stop as the keywords to stop the session. Then we can send the request. And here make sure that you set stream to true. Now because the response object is going to almost like a generator, and able to track the message, I'm going to create a variable called message. And here I'm going to iterate each chunk from the response object. And we can return the text block by referencing choices.delta.content. And here I'll simply stream the text. And also add the chunk to the message variable. And once we iterate every single block from the response object, we can add the message to the message list to update the message history. And this is everything we need to write to create a chatbot. Now we can do the testing here. So I'm going to run py-chatbot.py. And I have a typo. This should be chatbot, not chatboy. Alright, so here let's run the script. Now here I can say, what is SQL? And it's going to explain what SQL is. And here I should add a new line after the message. But that's okay, I'll do that after this video. I can also ask a follow-up question. What are today's top data engineering trends? And it's going to output the response like really quickly. Now let's say we want to stop. And we can simply type stop and to terminate the session. So this is going to be everything I'm going to cover in this tutorial. And hope you guys find this video useful. And feel free to post your question or your feedback in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.